special guest for the evening?
Our guest really shouldn't even need an introduction. He's well known in every small circle that he's a part of. So this is great. We just actually spent the weekend together, not in a shipping kind of way, but in a community way. And of course, that's what we're going to be talking about today, most especially. But Secular Rarity, Elliot, is a secular humanist, speaker, atheist, activist, future juggler, not a present one. No.
Yeah. I want to one day be able to juggle well. Yeah, yeah.
All right. It's aspiring
That's
juggler
right.
want
That's
to.
right.
Okay. All
Is
right.
Pendulette your inspiration?
Matt, he's one of them, that's for sure.
Definitely helps. Okay. Wannabe film noir detective.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
And leaf sheep enthusiast.
yeah,
We all have our issues.
yeah. Carr should not have let
S-
me write this.
you should not have. Uh, Secular Rarity is a host of The Atheist Experience, a founding member of the Conversation Coalition Nashville, and president of Secular Rising US, which I got to tell you, fantastic merchandising at your table this weekend at NanoCon.
Thank
Very
you.
nicely
Thank
done.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, yeah,
Awesome.
thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you. I'm really, really happy to be here. Yeah, well, I did just get notified just like last night. And it worked out pretty well because I'm still resting up from the whole weekend. So I see there's a few of us here that were hanging out in Nashville over the last weekend, and I just really appreciate everybody that was able to make it out and participated in one way or another. We had, you know, 40 some odd different speakers and presenters and about as many breakout sessions. And, I mean, I think, let's see, Gail Jordan opened the whole damn thing. Daryl Ray spoke 3 or 4 times. AJ was on a panel, the godless engineer, the skeptic, Dr. Ben, David. You had a workshop and was on a panel, am I right? We had
Yep.
Glenda. Glenda was moderating a panel, gave a fire dance performance, and had her own breakout. We had Jasper Hoffman. We had Steve Jacadis drove 11 fucking hours straight,
Yeah.
and made
Wrestled a
it.
border agent
That's right.
and
That's
leaped
right.
over the country. It was amazing.
It was wild,
Yeah,
man. And
yeah.
I'm leaving out another 3 dozen incredible things and
Okay,
people.
so for Elliot, for those of us who were not there and never even heard of this
Yes.
thing until recently, describe in
What
general
is
what is this?
Yes. So, the Nashville Nuns Convention, NONES, started back in about 2015, 2016. Interesting little lore enough. Gail Jordan was a big part of that. And there has been a deep connection with this awesome organization here since the beginning. And so it is the largest gathering of atheists, humanists, secular people, non-religious people in the entire state of Tennessee. And obviously, a few years ago, everybody was really unable to get out and participate with each other. I'm still not sure why. I think it might have been the Backstreet Boys reunion tour. But anyway, for a few years there, we couldn't all get out and do anything, and that was rough to try to bring it back. And so we haven't been able to have it for 3 years now, which was a bummer. But we put on a pretty great show. I like to think. We started planning, if you can believe it. We started planning at the end of last year, okay? And we're all sitting there. And there's like 4 or 5 of us, and we're all talking about it. We go, it'd be really great. Be really great. Be kind of tough. It's been a while, We'd have to start contacting these people and do all that. And we said, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll make this, we know what. This is simple. This is easy. We do like a half a day thing. We tell everybody show up at like noon. We'll do like like maybe one breakout session. We'll have like, two speakers, maybe a little drinks, little cocktails to end the night. It'd be great. Everybody be out of there by 8 o'clock. Fucking awesome, Next thing you know, we've got what, like 2, 3 different sessions of panels and workshops on Friday alone. Uh, Saturday is a 12-hour event schedule that we just had things. We literally had that night ending with a music concert, a secular musician local to the Nashville area, and a stargazing party. And
Mhm.
that was after the fire dancing at the after party. Okay. So like, I mean, I don't know.
All
All
right.
I
Well, I'm
know
intrigued, Elliot. What is this fire dancing? You referred to
that
the
you
fire.
got to talk to Glenda. You got to talk to
Yeah.
Glenda. Yeah.
So, so Madame Glenda has been fire dancing with a hoop for, I believe, over 10 years. I think closer to 15. And rather spontaneously, although, she did bring the hoop. So a little less
It
spontaneous
actually,
on
it
their part.
actually was. No, it just so happened we went up to the front desk. We said, "Hey, is there any way you might have these materials?" They did just happen to have
They
them.
did
And that
just
was it. It
happen to
really was.
have.
It was total
It was
coincidence,
crazy.
no
They
plan.
they had white fuel hoop and attachable fire sticks. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
I
Why
mean,
a hotel just
yeah.
randomly had these things.
You don't
It
keep
was
those? It's
pretty
Tennessee.
impressive. Uh,
So
I mean,
Ben,
it is Tennessee. It is
Ben,
Tennessee.
Dr. Ben was flying out. Dr. Ben was flying out of the Nashville airport this morning, and he sends me a message, and all it says is, "Why am I not surprised that there's a cigar lounge right next to the baby changing station?" And I just went, man, honestly, surprised there's not a gun store. Like I really feel like I know you can buy whiskey at the airport,
the
so I
the
just
gun stores in the local,
that's right. It's
whiskey
right
shop.
outside. It's right
It's right
outside.
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Great state. But
yeah.
yeah, so we took over Montgomery Bell State Park. We
Mhm.
absolutely sold out the hotel for Friday and Saturday. We were the only people that were there, and we had an absolutely amazing, amazing time. And I
Yeah.
know I should probably wait a little bit till the end so you tease everybody, and like you really get everybody listening, wait till the end, I'll tell you something cool. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyway because I can't not, July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd, 2026. We are already booked, you guys. So we will definitely be announcing here very shortly the next tickets. So yeah, go ahead, put it on the calendars, get it ready, all that good stuff. We're gonna have a great freaking time. It's gonna be super awesome once again. Right there,
What
still
were
same place. So
what were those dates again?
July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd. It's that last weekend of July. That Friday is the 31st. So
And
yeah.
Awesome. All
also
right.
as a teaser, of course, how's that go? Past performance is no guarantee of the future performance. But who was there this year that people might know and might come
Mm.
back next year? Who was
I
there?
mean, so I've already mentioned quite a lot of incredible people. If you're not familiar, there is well, I don't know. She's sort of out there a little bit. This Gail Jordan lady was like emceeing.
Yeah,
So you
she's a
start off
vague
the conference,
individual. Yeah.
you start off the conference with nobody or whatever, right? But eventually, you do get to some really incredible, amazing people. No, truly, the entire thing was stacked. I mean, Seth Andrews closed it out for us. If you're not familiar with Arden Hart, Arden gave an absolutely insanely awesome speech up at the American Atheist Convention just a handful of months ago. We were super, super lucky that
She
her
she was
schedule
our she
just
was our guest here just after she did that
she's
actually.
awesome, right? And we were so lucky that she just had it open in her schedule and was able to make it out to this. If you're not familiar with Jasper Hoffman and Melina Cohen, both of those women have some awesome freaking voices. Melina, is working with American Atheist. If you're getting their newsletter, by the way, you're probably reading a lot of her stuff. So I was thrilled to have her. Jasper has a crazy story about leaving the cult, leaving the Amish community, and is also a Middle Tennessee local. Is also somebody right around our area, which is great. And then I mean, honestly, I can just keep listing incredible people. It just did not stop. And what was wild was all of those incredible people are up there giving talks, right? Awesome panels. We actually had Tennessee State Senator Heidi Campbell showed up for a panel with um, April LaJoy, an author of Star Spangled Jesus, a phenomenally interesting person who grew up in a Christian nationalist household and didn't know it till she is watching January 6th and actually is calling people out by name, storming the Capitol. So a fascinating freaking story. And somehow, out of all of that, it still got cooler because walking around just real casually, just hanging out, are people like Cynthia McDonald, Anthony Magnabosco, Chad Harris
Anthony.
was on a panel. I mean, it just like every single person that you were just like, oh my gosh, that's the person I want to meet. In the panel that I was moderating with um, John Lovell, the skeptic, John Gleason, godless engineer, and Dr. Ben. We're sitting there, we're having a good time, we're chatting. We go to the audience questions just casually, just walk out, give the microphone to this guy, and this guy's just like, "Yeah, man, I'm already really having a great time. Um, I'm just here kind of sitting in this panel, and my hero Dan Barker is sitting right next to me, and I just turn over and just go, "Oh, hey, Dan, how you doing? That's awesome, man." I met this guy, came all the way out from Texas. Bernie Acosta gave a talk on Friday. Super super interesting story, standing in line waiting for the restaurant, you know. We got all these atheists getting out of these panels and stuff, getting ready to just, go chow down. And well, in fairness, it was a lot, it was a lot. The staff in the hotel were absolutely incredible start to finish. And so, everybody starts going, well, okay, look, we'll go find some other places around, right? We'll go around, we'll hang out, whatever. So we leave the line. Little do we know that behind Daryl Ray and his partner Barb is Bernie and Becca. Had come out all the way from Texas, first time they'd ever done anything like this. Bernie just finished up his talk, right? They're just standing there chatting, whatever. Daryl Ray turns around, just goes, "You want to go to dinner? You want to go to dinner real quick with us?" That is powerful for people, man. For somebody to just be able to just, go sit down at the restaurant and just turn over and there's Seth freaking Andrews, I mean, get to just go, "Oh, hey man, how are you? What's up? What are you doing?" That is so awesome. And there's a bunch of other really really cool opportunities like that coming up, Baja Con is coming up here in just about a week. The ACA's back cruise is coming up a little bit after that. I know Black Nonbelievers does a cruise all the time every year. So like, obviously the RfR excursions. I mean, there's so many different opportunities for us to get together and hang out like that. And when you
So how
finally,
important how important do you think events like that are to building a sense
oh,
of community?
oh gosh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they can be really, really huge. And one of the biggest reasons I think they can be so powerful is because of the networking and the connection that you get to do. Chad asked me, Chad Harris, Archradish, if you guys aren't familiar, Shiny Happy People just had a second like season come out. April LaJoy, by the way, is featured in that. But anyway, so all cool people. Chad says, he said, "Man, such a great time. Loved it, loved it. Hey, what was your favorite part? What did you enjoy the most? You were running around about half the time. You probably walked the whole event place like, 40 or 50 times every hour. What'd you like the most? And I was like, man, the best part was being able to walk up to somebody, give them a big hug, and turn around and go, have you met this person? Do you know this person? Like, have you ever talked with them? Have you ever seen them? Have you ever, and just um, every single one of us just getting an opportunity to just sit down and spend some time catching up with each other. AJ and I talk all the time online. GE and I will host shows together and stuff, but like we don't really get an opportunity to just like chat and to just like hang out and stuff. And it's so great to to finally once again have that opportunity. And again, I know there's a bunch of other really, really cool things coming up. So yeah, we do have we did our best to get as much of it recorded as we could. We had an absolutely, absolutely incredible team. Think Squared Media just completely volunteered and just did a phenomenal job, and we are so excited to get all those talks and panels out as soon as we possibly can. And so yeah, hopefully everybody that wasn't able to get to see all of the really cool freaking things that happened will be soon. But again, the good news is, tickets may not be on sale just yet, but you can go ahead and start making preparations for July 31st through August 2nd. So yeah.
I will say there was, you mentioned the like being able to turn around and just meet people. And it was something that I connected with on more than one occasion. People just you get into the elevator, and
Mm,
because we had booked out the entire hotel, you knew whoever you walked in the elevator with was somebody that was there
yeah,
for the event.
right.
And it was just an easy, immediate rapport building community engagement because you were like, you didn't have to ask, so what are you here for? I mean, it was
Right.
just like, oh, well, if you're
Right.
here, then you're here for this. And
Right.
you can just immediately ask,
What
like, so
what
how do you
talk
like
do
this
you
one?
want to
And
see is
yeah,
really,
well, which one do you want to see? Well, yeah, it was really, it was like the, upcoming fall excursion, total another shout out. It was basically like going to a camp without the shame and guilt.
Mhm.
It was really just a lot of fun to be able to just wander around and go, how you doing? Without worry about who you might bump into.
Yeah, and Rob, you had mentioned, you had asked about like how important are those moments and stuff. Um, there's a couple of different answers to that, I think. And one, obviously it's a great fun time. We all really enjoy ourselves. It's just cool to be able to just kind of shake off some of the bullshit for a second and have fun. Um, they're also important for a couple of other reasons, I think, too. And one of those, I think, is a motivating factor. A lot of these types of events will end with something related to service or activism, or just kind of getting out there and using this momentum that we've built this last weekend with each other to really make tangible change in our communities. And I think when you stand in a room like that for the first time, that changes you. That there's something about that experience that makes you just walk away going like, I really want that. I want that all the time now. Like, God, that's so cool. Why can't we just do that all the time? Why can't everywhere be like that? And I think that is needed a lot right now in our community. I don't feel like, I mean, please, somebody stop me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel it's crazy to say the last few years been a little tough,
Little bit tough.
having a rough time in a lot of different ways. And I think there's a lot of us that feel really, really disconnected and really unmotivated. And I completely understand. There's a lot of us that are really burned out, and we don't want to be out there because, you know, honestly, there's a lot of people in our community that have just been taking the shit, just the brunt of it for years now. And it's kind of hard to keep doing that all the time. And I think these opportunities are moments for us to go, hey, wait a second. No, 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 no. I can get up. I showed up all weekend. I can get there. I can take a little bit of that shit for a second. I can do something in my community. I can help out. I got 5 minutes. I got $5. I can like a fucking post on Facebook or share a video to a friend. I mean, there is so much that we can do to really move the needle around us. And sometimes we just need a little bit of that kind of like shock to the system to go, oh yeah, that's right. Like, wait a second, we gotta do something. Like, we gotta get the fuck up? Like, yeah, this sucks, man. Okay, so what do we do? So what do we do? We're not just gonna just stand waist deep in shit forever, right? If the answer is we get a shovel, then the answer is we get a shovel, you know? And that I think is something that, I was hoping a lot of the individuals that just showed up, especially for the first time. So we always ask our people, how many of you are new to the event? How many of you have never come to an event like this at all? And we had about half of the people that had never come to NanoCon,
Yeah,
and
that's
about
astounding to
a
me. Having frequented another conference, if it's 10%, it's a lot that are new.
Yeah. And that's like 400 people, man. So about 200, had never showed up before. And of the whole, group that came, about, 25% had never been to a place like that before at all.
Let
Had
me ask you to
never.
speculate. Let's
Mhm.
speculate here. Do you think it's because the situation has gotten so much worse in the last, some number of years
I
that
think
people
that's part
feel
of it.
more motivated to do these kinds of things?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I'll say, the local chapter here in Nashville of Americans United for Separation of Church and State has been growing in attendance. That's definitely something that has been seen. I see the awesome Will Judy is hanging with us, and I don't know if you guys have been following all the great stuff he does, but there is more and more people out there talking about this and getting, honestly, getting a little pissed. And I think that's something that we need. We need some of us to just not be happy and complacent anymore, you know? And I get it. Look, I just did this whole fucking convention thing, man. I understand, it's a lot of work. But the good news is that there are actually a lot of different organizations, there are a lot of different causes, and there are a lot of different ways that you can get involved. And so, you know, what we ended on, what we ended with at NanoCon, was an awesome thing that we've been doing for 2 years now in the Middle Tennessee area, called the Conversation Coalition. So we started this 2 years ago with literally four atheists and four Christians. We started getting together once a month and having these, what we always call challenging but cordial conversations. And the whole point is to talk. The whole point is to learn. The whole point is to break down that tribal mentality of just everything you say is wrong. I'm not going to listen to you, all of that. I mean, we hear some tough things. We absolutely do. But one,
How do you arrange that to get the Christians
That's a great question. That is a great question. It's been a lot of legwork. One of the coolest freaking people ever, the vice president of Secular Rising US, Gary Parker, is just absolutely amazing at making connections. And he started just on his own as a hobby, started going out and organizing chats at local coffee shops and Paneras. Would just literally post out on a local page and say, um, hey, I'm an atheist. You know, I was a longtime Southern Baptist. I completely deconstructed my faith, and I'm actually against organized religion now. And I just want to talk to people that disagree, and I want to talk to believers. And people just started showing up. And one day we've been doing this conversation thing for about a little over a year. And for various reasons, all of our believers left the group. They just all at the same time said, "All right, guys, well, we're done." And we said, "Well, gosh, that sucks. What do we want to do here? Do we want this to end, or do we want that to be season one?" And so we started reaching out to local churches. And if you can believe it, you guys, we now are live streamed on Grace United Methodist Church's website every time we do an event.
Whoa.
They
That's fun.
they post it in their bulletin and tell their people about it. They are amazing. The pastor, Jeff, was the guy who came all the way out to Montgomery Bell just for Sunday to do the Conversation Coalition with us. Absolutely incredible guy. Absolutely incredible community. And there are other local places like that we have gotten connected with, and they are welcoming us, and we are having these difficult conversations, and we are breaking down those barriers and finding those places where we can align. Because let me tell you, and I know there are many people here that obviously have aversion to religious institution. First off, I'm just going to say this part, don't worry. The same, there are many other ways that you can get involved and you can help, and I'm sure you're already doing them. If that isn't you, recognize that one of the best places right now, if you want to push back against Christian nationalism, if you want to push back against all of the anti-queer trans laws that are out there, churches, affirming churches, welcoming secular, those types of places. The church that hangs up the big pride flag on the front of their door and pays to get in big bold letters, "You are welcome here." Those are going to be our people. Those are going to be our people that are going to be able to help us form a coalition that actually makes progress. And look, I'm going to get a little cynical for a second, but you got to be, okay? That's where the money is. They got the money. They got money. At every single major institution that you can think of, for profit or nonprofit, that is fighting for the secular causes that we care about, the budget that they have is a drop in the bucket compared to all of the religious institutions out there. They have so much fucking money. Do you know how much land the Mormon church owns? Like, it's just crazy. They own like most of Missouri, I think. But those places that are welcoming and that are responsive to our messages, those are going to be ones that have a better inroad with some of the more extreme individuals. And those are going to be the ones that are going to be able to stand up there on a stage and get those people that are in the middle, that are still, "I'm not so sure this way. I liked it at first, but now it seems like we're going a little far. Should we really be doing that to our citizens? We're deporting people." And so this feels really bad. I'm not, but I don't know. This is my tribe. No, it isn't. No, it isn't, because look at this person. They're going to read their Bible and they're going to go to church, and that's great for them. And I'm glad that they do that. And if they believe that there's a heaven and an afterlife and a soul, that's fantastic. But you know what? More often than not, they don't believe. They don't believe that you're a criminal just because you're queer, right? They don't believe that you're not a person just because you're from a different country. They don't believe that you should be uneducated just because of the color of your skin. Sure they believe, you know, maybe there was a talking snake, maybe. But I'll be honest, Most of them don't. Most of them are not taking it that literal, and most of them are interested in supporting these types of causes that we fight for, you know? And so, um, after the Conversation Coalition, we ended out NanoCon with this absolutely incredible, incredible thing. A wonderful, wonderful person, Patty Robron from the Apostate Sisters channel, has been working on this really in-depth and broken down guidebook as to various ways that we can all get involved in super simple, super approachable, easy, bite-sized ways that you can get involved and make a massive statement, right? Simple things that also help us recognize that there are all of these different causes and organizations that we can support and fight with and work with to fight for the same thing. So I keep saying this to people, and so my area, Tennessee, right? Buckle of the Bible Belt, okay? Somebody said to me, "Well, Elliot, how does helping out at like a Second Harvest food bank or a homeless shelter, how does that help your cause? How does that help your people?" I said, "Well, think about it. Who do you think's getting kicked out of the houses? Who do you think's receiving the food in the deep South? Queer kids." Queer kids that have hardcore fundamentalist Christian nationalist parents. They're the ones that are getting kicked out of their houses, right? Disabled people, they're getting kicked out of their houses. Why? Because we can. Because we'll jack up the fucking price on the next person that comes in because they'll pay it. When we recognize that we truly have a broad, wide umbrella, that all of these things fight for the same cause. They are all pulling in the same direction. The more that we recognize that, and the more that we coalition build and start working together across these different organizations and causes and so forth, that's what's going to change, because that's what they're doing on the other side. So another, if you can believe it, guys, I swear, there's even more things that I haven't told you about that technically happened at NanoCon. It was a lot. Okay, so we had a showing. Our local chapter of Americans United had a showing of Bad Faith. And if you've never seen the documentary
Mm.
Bad Faith, it's super, super great. You will, at the end of it, be a little angry. So just, I'm warning you, fair warning up front, you will by the end of it be like, what the fuck, man? How is this happening? Um, but one of the things that documentary does really, really well in great detail is it lays out the deeply connected relationship that these organizations have. So what you have is you have one whole company that all they do is organize the event. They rent out the space and provide security, and they'll take care of water and food. But then you have another company over here that takes care of all of the graphic design, and that's all they do. They make all of the graphic design. And then you have the company over here that takes care of all of the media promotion, and they're the ones that are setting up all the interviews and calling all the reporters and getting all the stories in the newspapers. And then you've got this group over here that's writing all of the policy. And then you've got, what they do is they funnel all of that right back into their community. Anytime they need to go get a washer and dryer fix, where do they go? They go to the Christian store. They go down the road to the guy that got set up, by the way, because 10 years ago, Bill was walking around his local church and somebody said, "Hey, Bill, what's going on?" He said, "Well, I'm struggling, man. I'm trying to start this washer dryer repair business, you know?" He said, "Washer dryer repair business? No way. Do you know Steve? He's been doing that for years. Hey, Steve, come here, talk to Bill." Next thing you know, Bill's got an internship. Bill's getting paid. Bill's making money. Bill's able to put something aside. Bill starts his own business, steps out, successful fucking business, growing that money, putting that money right back into the church coffers. That that is what is happening. That is going on such an incestuous level. And I gotta be honest, it's time we do the same. It's time we start doing the same. We can do that. We can build that. There's no reason in the world that we can't have atheist mechanics. There's no reason in the world we can't have secular publishing houses. There's no reason in the world we can't do that. We absolutely can. And we have to start fostering and growing that now. Because if we don't, 5 years time we will be we are already behind. Let's just start off with that, right? We are already behind. But in 5 years time we will be so exponentially behind that the ability to try and catch up will just not be there, I worry. And maybe that's a little doomsday. I'm not trying to be all like, you've got to act now, by the end of this call, 50% off. I'm not trying to, throw that at you, but I am trying to say, like, if over the last couple of years you've been upset and you've been disappointed with the way that not only this country or your state or the world, if you have been looking around and going like, wow, I guess we got it wrong, you guys. I genuinely thought we were all like doing the whole, yeah, people thing, but apparently not. If that's how you've been feeling, let me just say this. You're not alone. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that feel exactly that. And I think the answer is we got to do something different. We've been trying stuff for years, right? Well, now it's time we do something a little different. Let's really get connected. Let's really start building that network on the same level that they have, because then we can't get kicked out of our venues. I can't tell you how many times local, non-religious, humanist, secular, atheist groups in the Middle Tennessee area lose their spot at a venue last minute. Maybe get the deposit back, most of the time do, but also been planning this thing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. All of a sudden, day before, hey man, so sorry, must have double booked or something. Got just, oops, our bad. Okay, fine. Hey, you know what? Probably a mistake. Probably just an accident. It's weird that it happens regularly. But you know what? They can't kick us out of our building. They can't tell us not to host that talk, have that drag show, right? They can't tell us that we can't bring in a medical facility, a mobile medical facility, and provide medical care to people. They can't tell us that. We know what the laws are. We know that there are things that can be done, but to get there, we have to build that foundation first. We have to build that foundation and be deeply, deeply connected. And so, I'm just thrilled that we got a tangible experience of that over this last weekend, and that so many brand new faces got to take part in that. So yeah, there's a bunch of other really cool stuff going on coming up. There's a bunch of other conferences and things. I'm sure the fall excursion hasn't sold out, right? It can't be. There's got to be
We can do
tickets
another shout
available.
out.
I'm a shameless whore. I'll just plug all the time every day I can. So
And the link for information
that's
and to
right.
sign up is in the chat again.
David,
We will shamelessly promote this.
you have been to the fall excursion, right, David? Tell people about that a little bit.
Maybe a couple times. It is very much it's church camp without Jesus. We are, last year was the first year we hosted it in Charlottesville, Virginia, in a camp there. That is absolutely lovely. You go back and like human civilization goes away. But don't worry, human civilization's really only like a 10-minute car ride away. So you're not like
Hey, do I have
completely
to
cut
give up
off.
my smartphone at the entrance?
You do not. In fact, they have amazing cell coverage back there.
God. Oh, thank God.
So we
Oof.
yes,
Yeah, my heart was pounding
we
just thinking about that.
I couldn't do it without my Wi-Fi. So I have to if I don't have cat videos off of TikTok. I'm kidding. I don't use TikTok. But for anything else, yes, absolutely, you need it. It is. it is so much fun. I mean, basically, you're there for a couple of days in the woods. In fact, our fearless leader, Dr. Daryl Ray, does a very, very informative and fun, nature hike, telling everybody about the geography and the trees and everything else there. So it's informative, it's fun, it's you're connecting with people. You're up, you're up late, having great chats, and the food is amazing. And the speakers are also a lot of fun. I believe, last year we had, somebody there helping with learning how to move your body and dance. We had songwriting, we had karaoke, we had a amazing, charcuterie board, because Miss Glenda Jordan is not just a fire dancer, she's also a artiste of food preparation. So there is that as well. We have, of course, speakers including, Daryl Ray. We have, what was it? I think we had about 9 different workshops or more. Much of that will be up on the site here shortly, if not already. So it really is. It's just a good time to relax, have a good time, connect, and in a place that, yes, as noted in the chat, amazeballs. It was just a lot of fun, to basically get away for a bit
Hmm.
and connect with people. So
Hmm.
by all means,
And
come
those,
on out.
you know, so I have come to believe more and more. I know, hang on, guys, let me finish the sentence. But I have come to believe more and more there's some really cool human power in some of these types of rituals, you know? Getting together with people at a music concert. When Godless Gospel sang, man, people were fucking crying at NanoCon. I mean, they could feel it. They loved getting to sit there and share a meal with somebody, getting to do some arts and craft project, just take a walk in the
Mhm.
fucking woods. I mean, these types of things are incredibly valuable for us, you know? Um, and we can't allow the deeply religious communities to say that that's their territory exclusively, you know? Every time, and I get this from atheists too, you know? They say, "Oh, well, you all getting together, it's kind of churchy." It's like, well, hang on a second. What are you saying is churchy about it, man? We're not reading the Bible. It's like, okay, well, you're not reading the Bible, okay, but it's still kind of churchy. And it's like, right, so, like what? And they're like, well, I mean, you all gather, and like maybe you like, sometimes you say like a creed or something, sometimes you have like we believe in, human power and science and whatever, it's, or like you sing songs together or something. And I'm like, what fucking community? What community? Like hanging out with friends is not okay. Well, I don't know. And then like you do the potlucks and the whatever. It's like, well, hang on. We're not allowed to eat now? We can't eat without it being fucking religious? That's crazy. Like we need to have we need to have those opportunities for us to connect regularly. And one of the biggest things, people see whenever they step out of that space is the always present, almost background noise, friends and community that they had. They don't think about it for so many years because man, it was like a badge of honor at my church to like how many people you could like welcome and thank, during the intro. Pastor would get up there and he'd say one or two things and he'd be like, say hello to your neighbor. And you'd like 20 minutes later be trying to walk back in front of everybody. Like I just fucking told everybody in that pew, you know? Um,
We
the
used to have
moment,
competitions
yeah,
and when I growing up, in for youth, like how many friends could you
right,
bring
right.
from classes and high school especially. I mean, it was community in peculiarly, or really not so much when you think about it, church broadly speaking. And if anybody who's talked to me before, I have a difficult time using these broad words because there is no such thing
Correct.
as a monolithic religion. I
Of
mean,
course.
these people fight one another all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, there are entire look up, jokes about Baptists, and you'll see a litany of how many times does it take to, how many Baptists would change the, take to change the light bulb. I mean, there's like 20 jokes of them out there, easy. Why? Because they love to debate internally and create
Right.
new groups. I mean, this is all about we are fundamentally communal creatures. We
Mhm.
cannot even think about ourselves as individuals outside of the relationships that we have with
Right.
one another. We
Right.
can't. We're
Right.
we're we're great apes. This is just the way it is. Or
Right.
monkeys that I like to say simply because it's funnier. I mean,
And and
it's
we
we have to
can't,
connect.
right. And allow we can't allow the religious to occupy all of the things that truly at the end of the day are core to being human. You know, when you look at the way that a lot of people will characterize somebody based on simply whether or not they go to a church. Oftentimes, when you look at these studies, you'll see that people will attribute generosity, they will attribute compassion, they will attribute intelligence, all of these different words. They say, "Oh, well, you go to church. I mean, you probably like feed the homeless or something." They don't. We've been lied to for a really long time. They've been saying for a really long time that, oh, if you go to church, you're actually more likely to give to nonprofits and institutions that take donations and all of this good stuff. See, what's interesting though, I don't know if y'all know this, but religious organizations in the United States are under that same classification. And so if you exclude the churches that the motherfuckers are going to, they do not anywhere come close. Non-religious people, people that actively take the labels of atheist or humanist or secular, non-religious, overwhelmingly participate more in nonprofit organizations if you adjust for the churches that the believers are going to. Because, yeah, if you go to a church and your pastor fucking yells at you every week that if you don't give 15% of your income, then you're going to burn in hell. I mean, yeah, you donate, man.
Hey
So,
Elliot, I've told this story before. My cousins became fundamentalist evangelical Christians, and one at a time they dragged us to see what it was about. So it was the first time I was ever in a church where people were speaking in tongues, and someone did that, and I said, Richard, what they say? I don't know. Only the minister can translate. So the minister translated what the woman had jabbered about, and what do you think that was about?
ah, I'm kind of worried you're going to say give money.
Yeah, yeah, that
No
was it.
way.
Yeah.
No
God is
way.
saying you're not paying the church enough
Oh
tithing.
my God. That's so, see, that's like cartoon level
Uh,
evil. Like that's somebody sitting there with a cat in a big fucking chair, like, I'm going to bomb the
and
hospital
they
with all
all
the
opened up
kids.
their wallets and gave more money. That's
Oh
it.
my
Hmm.
God. It's just when it's so fucking blatant like that. It's so stupid. But but again, I mean, look, this is the thing. This is the thing that we know what the actual data is. We know what the science is. We know one of the biggest overwhelming reasons that people say they struggle leaving a religious faith, that they struggle leaving a religious community. It's not the beliefs, it's not the stories. It's the fact that on the Tuesday they can go to the potluck. And on the Wednesday they can go to the knitting class or the men's class or the women's class or the help the people in your community class. And then on Thursday they can do this or that. And by Friday they're packing for their fucking weekend trip at blah blah whatever fuck it. That that is the reason why people are staying in so many of those places. And if you go look at the vast majority of churches, so across the board, religious institutions are declining in attendance, right? Now, obviously, we all still keep fucking in some capacity. I hear every so often, sorry, just a slight tangent, just because I just thought about this. Every so often, like I hear somebody online like crying about the birth rate, and they're like, "We're not having enough babies. Oh no! Like men, like what's wrong with you? Like impregnate your women." And I'm just like, man, that's a really weird thing to be concerned about. I don't know who you hang out with. I know a lot of people that fuck. So, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever. The point is, I'm not super worried about the declining birth rate, but um, across the board, religious institutions are dropping, right? They are losing attendance, except for a handful. There are a handful of religious institutions that over the last few years have seen a bit of a rise. Now, the first one's going to be really depressing because I don't have a great answer for it. So I'm going to say it real quick and rip the band-aid off. You can all be depressed, and then we'll go talk about the other one I do have an answer for. But the one group of religious institutions are the really hardcore fundamentalist, hateful, racist, bigoted, transphobic, shitty ones. I did apparently all of those people are leaving the other churches and congregating at some of those churches. So that kind of sucks. I just want to pinpoint that real quick. We'll get back to it in a minute. I know that's bad. That's not great. The other one though, and this is the larger grouping. This is the larger side of it overwhelmingly, which is the churches that are stepping away from the theology, the churches that are stepping away from talking about the Bible all the time and going through all the stories and all of this. And instead what they're doing is they're offering the Easter egg hunts. They're offering the daycare services. They're offering the summer camps. They're offering the retreats and the all the things. Those are the churches that are overwhelmingly seeing their attendance either maintain or grow. Now again, across the board, those numbers are still going down largely, and that's cool. That's great. But that group right there, that group of people, not that first group, again, I know there's some depressing statistics there. Again, apparently, yes, you guys, there's a lot of bad people still. I mean, I genuinely thought we had made more progress, but that group that is largely going to church because that's the only place they can take their children for 6 hours a day. That place, that group that is going to that place because they have an opportunity to see people on a regular basis and have a good time and have fun, maybe play some video games, maybe just chat or whatever. I mean, sure, like there's 5 minutes where somebody in some like ripped jeans and like, hair kind of like mine stands up there and says like, yeah, love, Jesus, let's light a candle. Fuck it. But other than that, it's like largely we just chill. Those people overwhelmingly agree with us on a lot of different causes. They are not the ones that are actively trying to shove Bibles into the hands of school children. They aren't, right? They aren't the ones that are voicing opinion for laws and policies from local to federal that are harmful and that are anti-humanist. They just aren't. Those people that are going to those places, those types of communities, there are people. And when we start utilizing that network, we are going to start seeing that progress more. They are still the majority, guys. That sucks. I hate that. I wish we had more of us, man. Shit, I wish we had twice as many fucking people. But if you think about it, the largest gathering of atheists in the entire state of Tennessee is still a drop in the bucket compared to the weekly attendance for every single church from me in a mile. Every single one of these churches within a mile of where I live right now has a weekly attendance of over 1,000. Weekly attendance, these motherfuckers show up for that. That's crazy, you know? Well,
The threat of hell is a big draw.
it sure fucking is. But you know what else? the threat of you losing your job, the threat of your friends and family being thrown into some hole in the middle of nowhere, the threat of all of the good things that you have championed for years crumbling in front of you and your in front of your very eyes. That's motivating too. And more of those communities are seeing that and they are doing something. The last time there was a rally at the Capitol in Tennessee, a local preacher spoke, and then a secular person spoke, and then another preacher spoke, and then a secular person spoke. That's what we need. That's what's going to make a massive, massive difference. And we can do that. We can build that coalition amongst ourselves, the groups that are already working together. Again, if you want to help queer kids, you can support RFR. You can support the Trevor Project. You can support Second Harvest Food Bank. If you want to help all kinds of different groups and communities and causes that are important to you, remember, it is not this pie that we are constantly getting a smaller piece of. No, it is a rising tide. It is a bathtub getting filled continuously. Every time we reinvest in our community, that's more for us. That's more for us to build off of, you know? If you have $5 in your pocket, again, right here, this is a great place. You can give it to RFR. Another great place is all of these other secular, humanist, atheist, non-religious communities that you can find, funny enough, on RFR's website. They just fucking list them for you. You can just go through, start with A. Just pick the first one you see. You don't like that one? Shit, you got a bunch more. You can find small groups in your area and make a massive, massive impact by just donating 5 hours, 5 hours a month, man. You know, one day out of 31, you go down. I don't know, man, hang up some posters, shit, fold pamphlets. I had to put 300 fucking stickers on things last weekend. Put some stickers on some things, y'all. I mean, there's 1,000 different things that we can do, and every single one of them is going to make our causes stronger. It is going to make our community better, and we are going to see those changes in the world around us, you know? I really, really, if I believe fucking anything, I believe that, man. And so again, truly, I mean, I'm still riding the high of NanoCon, and I'll probably feel it till I go to bed and just crash tonight. So
Yeah, to connect the things that you've talked about in the last thing and the previous thing is that, and I've seen this myself at conferences that I've attended, which happen to be in the scientific skepticism realm. People go and what is this about? They don't know if they really belong here and whatever. And then they get so sucked into it that they become activists themselves. So that's the thing. You meet these other people and you go, wow, I really should be doing something. And you just don't go home and start doing what you did before and maybe just watch YouTube videos. But you maybe, not everyone does, but a significant number of people do. And I've known a lot of people, including myself, who got involved in the whole movement that they were interested in just by going to a conference, and that
yes,
kicked it off.
exactly. And there's this really awesome short little TED Talk video. I think it was posted maybe like 10-ish years ago, 2015-ish, somewhere around there. I don't remember. But it's called How to Start a Movement. And it's just really, really quick video. It's really, really short talk, but it's really cool. And one of the reasons it's so cool is because the presenter uses a short clip of some people out in the park one day. And he starts playing the video and he says, so we're going to talk about how to start a movement. Now, first is you got to have a visionary. You got to have somebody that's out there in their field. And the camera starts and it's just this guy just getting it, man. I mean, he's just dancing. He's just going, And there's a bunch of other people like around, but like nobody's, nobody's really like doing it or anything, but he is loving it. He is getting it. He is going, right? But here's where the really, really cool thing happens is when the first person runs over, that's when the presenter says, this right here is the most important part. This is so critical and crucial, and not a lot of us realize it and think about this. A lot of times when we get that excitement, we get that spark, we go, I'm going to do it, baby. I'm going to invent the fucking wheel. I'm going to revolutionize travel. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. There's a lot of good wheels out there. There's a lot of really incredible places that right now, your time, your money, your effort, your thought and skills, whatever they are, can radically, radically change, can absolutely make the difference, right? That is huge. We shouldn't all reinvent the wheel. We shouldn't all be atheist mechanics. But when we need a mechanic, that's who we go to. When we need graphic design, we find the people that are doing that. When we want to help out, we say, I want to make a difference in my community. I want to be on the front lines. I want to help people. Guess what? There's already so many incredible places you can do that. You can help out RFR. You can go through fucking training. You can get trained. You can literally help people in some of their most difficult times. Street Epistemology International has been working on this course to teach you how to do street epistemology. And guess what? They've now even got a program you can train to be a street epistemology practitioner and teach other people how to do it. You can get involved on so many different levels. And whatever your skill is, whatever your interest is, whatever time you have, I know that there is a way to participate on so many of these different things. And it's awesome because, again, I know it kind of sucks. I know it's kind of tough right now, but there's part of me that kind of feels like, you know what? All right then. If this is what it's going to be, if we wake up in the morning and we just see, man, look, kitchen caught on fire, it's fucked. Well, then you know what? Sounds like we gotta scrub. Sounds like we gotta clean it up a little, you guys. We can fucking do that. We can make this not just what it was, we can make it better. We have that opportunity. If the house is burnt down, damn, that sucks and we lost it all. But you know what? We can build it back. We can make it better. We can do something this time that puts safeguards in place so that this never happens again. We can learn from this opportunity. We're not done. We're not out. So I'm just happy. Like I said, I'm just still riding the high from the whole weekend. So I'll probably, when we're done here, I'll probably just stand up and walk around my house for a few minutes going, yeah, what can we do? Fuck yeah, secularism. It's just that
Well,
energy inside of me always.
Well, it's also a reminder that, is something I recently wrote about, where our need at times for significance, our
Mhm.
need to slay the big monster, will sometimes counter our involvement, because we'll look at this
Mhm.
massive thing that we've given, this scary label to, and feel immediately overwhelmed. And I'm gonna tell you this, like, each and every little interaction that people had at the conference over the weekend, every time that you get together, for a coffee or a drink with somebody and share a moment of creativity and
Mhm.
community and so on, you have contributed, and all of those things have ripple effects of which you may never know. I mean, there were so many stories shared even this last weekend and other conferences this year where people said, I had this conversation and I don't remember who they are, but I'm here today, or because of that, or it started a ripple, it started a ripple effect in my own life that led me to this, that it helped me, through a dark time, and I was able to get involved with this community and so on. Everything you do matters
Well,
because we're humans together.
yep.
We're
And
not letting the authoritarian shaming of specific religious principles tell us that we're already lost. No, we still have one another, and
right.
that's something that we can still build off of every freaking day.
Yep. And it's fucking powerful when you do. It's a big deal,
Mhm.
and it makes a massive difference. So
All
I think
right.
I don't know. I've probably been on my soapbox enough. Have I? Have I? We
No, it's
didn't plan.
absolutely great to hear from you and all your enthusiasm.
Well, thank you.
Let's do this. Let's share the poll and then ask the questions that we got from the audience. There weren't all that many, so and then we'll stop the recording and we'll go to the hangout. Can you stay for the hangout?
Yeah,
Okay, not overly exhausted yet. Great.
I know somehow.
Okay, let me share the results. Here's the poll results. You want to read these, David?
Yes. So the first question was, how connected do you feel to a secular community? Overwhelmingly, it was tied. So we had 49 people respond, and a full third, a third, and a third all said very connected, somewhat connected, and not very connected.
It's not terrible.
So you know what? There is so much room. If you listen to this whole exchange, there are so
Mhm.
many opportunities to get connected. It is a choice because the opportunities are not lacking. So reach out. And the second one, leaf sheep are unique animals that can perform opera. 12%. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Calculus 2%. I want to know who you are. Agility competitions, 22%, which, I mean, depending on how you want to, define agility competition. And then, of course, 63% photosynthesis, which I happen to think is probably the correct answer.
It it
Just a
it
thought.
is.
Okay. All right. All right.
So
So
refreshing my
awesome.
memory, leaf sheep are actually not sheep. What are these?
They're sea slugs. It's a slug that gets the name leaf sheep because it happens to resemble a cartoon sheep character that was popular in Britain many years ago, and they live their entire lives on these leaves off the coast of Japan underwater, and they eat the plant and then they pull out the chloroplast and they retain it in their body and they can go through photosynthesis so that they don't have to eat.
Cool.
Yeah, they are called, and this is the coolest part in my opinion. They are part of a group of living organisms called kleptoplasts. They are not the only ones that steal chloroplast and use it. How cool would that be, y'all? I mean, seriously, like
No.
imagine if you could just like eat some celery or something and then like go sit in the sun for a day and then just be like, all right, grocery bills cut in half, bitch. I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah, a
This
real
feels like
intelligent
it needs to
designer
be.
might have made people that way, instead of having to go through all the trouble of having to shop for all the food we do or kill
So
animals
I
and everything.
I
Yeah.
have heard, and I don't know that it's true, you guys, but there is some studies out there that say before the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, we did actually go through photosynthesis because there was no death whatsoever. So like even
Mhm.
like eating of plants would be a weird thing in that capacity. So
I had a fundamentals friend of mine tell me that, and when I was an adult, and my jaw dropped. And now you're joking because
no,
I
no,
was
there's
raised
no
Catholic. I
death.
had never heard this nonsense.
No, 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 no.
What are
No
you
death in the
talking
Garden of
about?
Eden. Yeah, that's just all the ants and all the poop and just everything. It's
No,
just all accumulated
putrefaction
everywhere around
bacteria
them.
didn't
Yeah.
exist. I mean, like,
No, it's
dinosaurs had
crazy.
sharp teeth just to break open coconuts or something. I
No,
could not
no. That makes
believe she
total
was serious
sense.
about this.
No, it's super real.
Okay, well, too bad no one could answer the next poll question because David forgot to actually put it in the actual poll, but so we can't go there. All right.
Not at all. You don't need sleep. That's the answer.
All right.
It really is. It
Yeah.
is. I mean, in fact, when you go to a secular community conference, you become kleptoplastic. So
Right.
you just
Right.
simply absorb the energy
Right. That's right.
from
Boom.
people around.
Very
That's
cool.
how this works.
Super scientific, super real.
Super scientific.
Okay, so the recorded Q&A session is going to be short at this point, and then we're going to go to Hangout because there's only 2 questions. You want to ask one of those, David?
Absolutely, Chris. Now I have to find the questions. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. Oh, actually, I'm curious about this one too. So, is the gumball machine in your room as we stalk your background for when you use the gumball example when talking to Theus?
So,
uh,
before you answer that, for people who don't know what that is, just give a quick synopsis of.
yeah, generally speaking, the gumball example is one of saying like, in this gumball machine here, we don't know how many, gumballs there are. These are actually marbles, so I'm going to say marbles, but we don't know how many marbles there are. But if I say that I don't believe that it's an even number in the gumball machine, I am not making the claim that it is an odd number. I'm just simply saying I'm not convinced that it is an even. If somebody walks up to you and says, there's an even number of marbles in that gumball machine, it is an acceptable answer to say, I don't think there, I don't believe that. I don't hold that to be true. It does not mean that you are then saying there is an odd number of gumballs or marbles in there. But there again, there are marbles in here. That is true. So even or odd, I have no fucking clue, but they are glass marbles. Please don't eat them. But it is a functioning gumball machine. And then the answer, which will be a bit of a disappointment, is no. Actually, I just like gumball machines, and I've owned this one and a couple of other smaller ones for years, and just really enjoy.
But not with real gumballs, with
No,
marbles.
apparently no. I
It-
did. So okay, so here's the problem because again, this is working. Like it's not actually it's a replica of that old style. It's not actually one from like the 20s or anything, but it is fully functioning. When I originally got it, I had it brand new and I cleaned it out and I put gumballs in it. And then I realized that if I wanted to eat the gumballs inside of it, I would probably have to put a quarter or take it apart regularly. And so, after a while, that became quite a fucking hassle. And then, 2 years went by and I was just thinking, well, there's no way this gum is good. So that's a waste. And then I looked at repurchasing the amount of gum to fill it back up. And I was like, do I really want to spend like $70 on gum for just myself that I'm charging myself a quarter per gum, like what is this? What am I doing here, And I just happened to have a bunch of marbles lying around and I was like, you know what? This will solve the problem.
So a lawyer might tell you you're leaving yourself open to a horrendous lawsuit by somebody choking to death on a freaking marble that they thought was a gumball.
I gotta be honest, if you are in this space, my studio space, choking on my marbles, there are a lot of other problems that have occurred from when you woke up to now. So I don't know how the fuck you got
Have
in,
you not
but
seen the legal warnings they put on everything that's ridiculous? Like, do not operate hair dryer while you're sitting in
oh
a
yeah.
bathtub.
Yeah, I saw this once long, long ago, and I had cut it out because I thought it was so fucking ridiculous. And I don't know where it is now. It's been many years since I had it, but there was these little like toaster like potato cake things, and it's this brand I had never heard of at the time. And I was popping them in the toaster, and I looked on the back for the instructions, and then at the bottom it did have a warning. And the warning was use common sense when operating a toaster oven and this product. And I looked at it and was like, there's no way you could say that, right? Like, is that it? Is that all you need to do? Just like, hey man, don't be a dumbass, you know? Like you should know how tea works, okay? If this is a fucking issue for you, just shouldn't be making tea, okay?
I don't know, Elliot. Gumball machine. If I had a quarter in my pocket and I really want a gumball, I might be swallowing your marbles. All right. Next question was, this is more serious. It's been my experience that even humanist groups are fraught with internal fighting. How can we better form coalitions with outside religious groups when many humanists are fighting with other humanists.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, the amount of infighting and so forth that happens in humanist or non-religious spaces is particularly different, honestly, across the board in other spaces. You find that, I mean, there's 44,000 denominations of Christianity in the United States. Literally, the Baptist as organizations, by the way, not just like, oh no, we don't like each other anymore, but like they have gone through legal formal processes to split. The Methodists did that, the Anglicans did that, the Presbyterians did that. Like everybody has these problems. Now, that's not an answer to the question, though. I think the answer to that question is, and I get it, it might kind of suck, you guys, but look, you keep doing it. The answer to bad science is not stop science, right? The answer to not enough humanism is not less humanism. The answer to disconnection is not less connection, right? The reason like David was talking about earlier about, it was a badge of honor about how many friends you could bring to the church, right? That's one of the reasons why they're so successful is because they keep saying, go out there, knock on the doors, make the connection. If you are and I have some of this experience, and if anybody else has had these terrible traumatic times as well, I apologize for reminding you, but if you've ever done cold calling, if you've ever done like door-to-door sales, if you've ever done anything in that space, one of the biggest things that they'll tell you is something to the effect of, you got to go through 7 no's to get to a yes. In the conversation, you have to get them to go, nah, I don't want that. And then still keep going. And they're going to do that psychologically 5, 6, 7, 8 times before they finally agree and go, you know what? Actually, yeah, there is something here that's valuable. Look, I don't need a brand new car. I don't need a brand new car right now. Okay. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, let me tell you about this. Hey, you know what? I don't need I don't need that kind of churchy group, okay, where you all get together and you sing. It's like, hey, no problem. Yeah. Don't go to the churchy group. Did you know there's a rally coming up? They go, yeah, man, I don't do the rallies, man. I'm not interested in the rallies. It's like, no worries, man. Yeah, no worries. Hey, did you know there's a conference that happens at the end of the month? It's like, a conference. What's at the conference? It's like, oh man, there's speakers, there's panels, there's presenters. I said, nah, I don't do the panels and presenters thing. Yeah, it's not my thing. It's like, well, there's a tour of the local Hindu temple. Oh, I like that. Who does that? Well, it's the local humanist group. It's the Humanists of Middle Tennessee. They do a monthly temple tour where they talk about different religions and they give a secular understanding to various cultures of the world. So the answer to the infighting and the splintering and the disconnection is us continuing to try to make those connections, us continuing to try and reach out. If we are getting pushback, right, that's okay because we will. We know it's built into the system. And that shouldn't deter us because, again, if you need a reason other than just the simple, hey, it's the good thing to do, if you really need the reason, that's why the Christians are successful. Is because when they knock on the first 10 doors and everybody says, go fuck yourself, they still knock on the 11th. They still show back up next week. They still participate. So that isn't to say that there aren't bad people in every space, right? I don't think we need to sit here and list off terrible people that have existed in all kinds of, we all know that, absolutely. But let's also make sure that you know, we're not arbitrarily just cutting off friends and communities that are beneficial to us just because we didn't like the last meme that they posted on Facebook. Like, yeah, it was maybe a little snarky. Maybe it technically wasn't philosophically, logically, semantically fucking, maybe fine. But like, Jesus Christ, that means you're going to stop working with the only freedom from religion chapter in your fucking state? Like, come on, man. They posted a meme. It wasn't your favorite thing. We'll be okay, you know? So yeah, we do definitely need to make sure we aren't arbitrarily cutting off people. We also need to just keep at it. That's how you build a stronger community.
All right, thank you, Elliot. David,
Yeah.
we think you got time for one more question before we.
Man, I just rambled. I'm so sorry.
No, no,
Good.
good answers.
This question is excellent. So we came to NanoCon with a theist family member that is kind of deconverting from organized religion. He loved the music, teared up during Godless Gospel. With such tension that often exists between theists and atheists, how do we make sure they feel welcome and safe at events like this?
Yeah, yeah, phenomenal question for sure. And I think one of the biggest things, and this is, I think, an answer that works for a lot of different communities. You know, I hear this question coming up about how am I a better ally to Black communities in my area? How am I a better ally to LGBT communities in my area? I think oftentimes the answer is both simple and difficult. And that answer is demonstration. You don't have to tell somebody you're safe because you show them you're safe, right? You bring on individuals that clearly showcase to people, look, this is where our value system lies, right? When you are actively, regularly representing and platforming these individuals and saying, look, you, we had how many different breakout sessions that had a specific focus about where believers and non-believers can work together? How many different opportunities did somebody have for the first time to not only get to meet a trans activist, but to get to hear what they can do to actually help the community? Like, that's how you do it, time and time again. If you want to provide those safe spaces for people, you can do it. And the best way to do it is by demonstrating that, you know? Put up a big sign, absolutely. Like I said, if you're driving by a church in your area and there's a big pride flag on it, man, you're probably okay if you walk in there as an atheist. That's probably some of your people, man. You can also show the fuck up regularly. You can be at the events. You can have your opportunities where you're bringing other people in to say, hey, who are you? What do you do? You can showcase all of those other individuals and say, these are our people and these are our values, you know? Um, I I think the vast majority of the communities in this space do a phenomenal job of that. I mean, RFR, in my opinion, has always been right there in the thick of absolutely everything, and it's not a question. I don't think it's one of those things you have to say like, man, I don't know. Do you think like recovering from religion supports like trans kids? It's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What's wrong with you, man? That is not a reference to anything specific. I'm not trying to stir up any feelings of anybody. I'm just saying, I think of all the communities and causes, it's a clear connection. But whatever.
Oh, thank you again, Elliot. Yeah. So, all right, I guess we can wrap this part up there. And I want to thank you so much for stepping in at the 11th, past the 11th hour and doing such a wonderful job. And and thank you, David, for joining me here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will be having the hangout here shortly as well. We have here, it is all posted in the chat concerning everywhere that you can follow us. Linktree, the Facebook, the Instagrams, the TikToks, the Blue Skies, YouTube channel. Again, there are well over 250 of the RfRx things. Lots of different topics on everything. This is about supporting the community. This is not just simply about going, this is what's wrong with religion. It is very much about, hey, we are more than one thing, and we can appreciate all that it is to be human. So, as well as that, we are always, listen, everything that happens here is run by volunteers. Nobody's getting paid, or at the very least, I've been waiting for a check in the mail for several years,
Me too,
and they keep
David.
saying it's
Five
lost.
years. 5 years they're behind. It's the postal service here. It's just awful.
I know. My luggage actually got lost coming out of NanoCon. Supposedly it's going to show up tomorrow. So I just figure that
The check will be with it.
the mail will be there with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there will be a confluence. The luggage became kleptoplastic and absorbed the money that's been circulating for a while. But yes, we are run by volunteers just like you. So benefits, of course, helping, understanding that every time that you connect with somebody else, you are contributing to the things and the values that matter to you. You left religion. You didn't leave what matters to you. This isn't, you don't have to start from scratch. Guess what? You left religion, but you probably still care about honesty and community and integrity and family, albeit some of those things may show up a little differently, obviously, in action. But those things they don't have, your former communities do not have the market cornered on the things that people care about. So come on over and connect. All of these services reported by, we are always, always, always in need of more. We have everybody from call center people, vetting process, resources. I saw somebody post about how the graphic designers, fantastic. Could always, use some help with developing marketing and so on and so forth. Supporting, of course, the OC, IT support. Oh, yes, it is an ongoing need. I am not the IT guy. Nah. So I may therapize the IT people, but after they've banged their head against the keyboards, but
Mhm.
no, not doing that. So we've got people who really know
CPAs.
what they're doing. CPAs,
CPAs are super, man. If you know
yeah,
finances stuff, if like QuickBooks and shit is your jam, like you need to reach out.
yep. Reach out. You can, of course, go to um the volunteer part on the RFR website. There is the link in the chat. Fill it out. Tell us what you're great at, and we'll reach out to you. And of course, we have, for those who didn't show up in the first 10 minutes or so of this, we do have, of course, a shorter 3-minute video concerning what it is that we do. And I will post the link to that here shortly. But feel free to share it to all of those, the tubes out there, the internets.
Thank
Rob.
you, David.
Mhm.
Yes, so next week we have Ross Blotcher. He is my friend who is the co-host of Oh No, Ross and Carrie. He's presented here twice, and I'm looking forward to this. His third appearance, he's going to be talking about his presenting skepticism at LA's largest spiritual conference. Speaking about going someplace that you wouldn't expect to be welcomed. He applied for a speaking position at a spiritual conference and got to talk about show me your superpowers. Yeah, fascinating. I'm looking forward to that. So I